everybody. Welcome back to the MissJudged podcast, coming to you from a fresh new studio. If you don't remember, because of our little brief hiatus, it's season 2 at MissJudged Podcast, MISS. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We are joined today by Ben Hart. Ben, welcome.
Thank you. I'm super hyped to be here. I'm hyped that you guys have this like energy together, you and your co-host. And now it's just, even though it's just you, I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Give us your backstory. Tell us where people can find you, and then tell us about yourself. Just a brief one, you know.
Sure, of course. Yeah, people can find me at Benny Inc. on Instagram and TikTok. But I started off doing an entrepreneurship space. I had a startup during all my 20s, and then after that, we merged with a media company. I'll just sum everything up real quick.
Yeah,
after
I love
that,
it.
we merged with a media company, and then I wrote a book called The Zero Mindset, which is kind of like recalibrating at points of zero in your life and reframing to develop a new mindset to make better decisions, specifically around building something from zero, quite honestly. And it wasn't until, that's kind of like was like the personal development umbrella that I started off in after that startup world. And it wasn't until I started to focus on like the niche of dating, because it's one of those things that I just got really interested in, like the intricacies between people on first dates, second dates, all the early stage stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously my personal experience in that, but also like just naturally I started to navigate more of those conversations.
Yeah.
And I started to create content on it, and then that's kind of where I kind of started to propel the most over the last year and a half. Honestly.
I love it. We love a man who talks about dating, guys. I mean, by the way, I would love to just shout out our listeners because, hi, men. We have found out that our demo is millennial men, mostly that are unmarried. So today I wanted to do an episode, shout out to you guys, and I wanted to just talk about, where we're at in society with men and women and everybody's fear of commitment. So I want to kind of go through that with you and just let's like break it down, because I want to know, you're a man dating in Manhattan. So you have the same perspective that I have, right? So what do we think about commitment in general?
I mean, I think it's a very, sensitive topic, only because like I don't know if it's really what it is or it's how we're perceiving what commitment really is, right? So let's just, even if we take it back to a city like New York.
Yeah.
Let's just say New York, and we can refer this to the same thing of New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, etc.
Yeah, big cities, guys.
These are cities where people migrate to, and these cities specifically, they migrate to develop their own personal path and identity, and to have their own idea of success and workplace kind of acceleration.
Yeah.
That's just really right. It's a self-focused city, like every other city. They go to the city so they can work on themselves. So fair enough.
That's a good point, actually. We do have the best and the brightest here, but I have said this before many times. The best and the brightest come here, and when they date, when they get off the clock, they have a little bit of dating Asperger's. And guys, don't come for me on the internet, but it's true.
Sure. Oh, yeah, definitely. That kind of comes along with it, right? Like New York, don't get it twisted. New York is not the best city to date in, and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Like very few cities are really that great to date in today's world, right? It's like analysis paralysis. It just comes along with it, right? And when you're so focused on you, how can you say, especially when you develop such an identity around what it is you do and how you do it, and a way and a system that works, how comfortable are you giving some of that up to start building a relationship with somebody else? And that's a little difficult to do when you get so ingrained in a lifestyle. It's like, well, why would I, no, I kind of know how this works. I'm looking for somebody that fits me as opposed to being the opposite, right? And I get that, right? It's part of the dilemma of New York dating specifically.
Well, let's define what's commitment, okay? So when I say commitment, I'm talking about you're exclusive. That's the first level. You're moving in together. That's the second level. I mean, some people might come for me. Maybe you're engaged, whatever it is. And marriage. So let's go into it. What does commitment mean to you, I guess?
Yeah, I guess,
as a man?
I guess there's levels of commitment, right? Like there's specific outcomes that we call commitment, right? And I only consider two personally. That's just me
Okay, give
personally.
them to me.
Yeah, I consider number one is relationship, and number two, if you desire marriage, or if you care about it, that's the second.
Yeah,
Those,
exactly.
I understand why a lot of people use the like we're seeing each other exclusively. I get that frame of mind, but to me, I think that just for a lot of people, I think it adds a layer of complexity to what dating is per se, and I think it creates a safe place, but also it's not too safe. It doesn't feel like you're fully committed. It's like half foot in, but if something were to happen, we weren't in a relationship.
Oh my
So it's
God.
kind of like a weird. I don't love it personally.
I don't either. Okay, so I recently learned from my friends because I personally have never actually dealt with this, but one of them was whatever. She was dating a guy, right? And they were dating each other for a while, and she's like, we have to have the chat about exclusivity. So they have the chat, and she's like, we're exclusive. And I was like, oh, you've got a little boyfriend. She's like, no, no, no. We're not boyfriend, girlfriend, Alyssa. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he didn't say that. We're just exclusive. And I'm like, aren't the two the same? Are they the same?
You would imagine them, but no, they're not. In today's kind of language and lingo, they don't use them interchangeably like that. There's like a weird, and that's why I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't like it.
Oh
It
my God.
confuses everybody, and it does actually anybody no good. And most people that actually want the exclusivity really want the relationship. They just
Yeah.
haven't been able to like.
But it's the same thing.
you know
This
what
is
I'm
here's my thing. All right,
Yeah.
we're here to educate the masses, guys. If you want to be exclusive with somebody, that's your girlfriend, that's your boyfriend. All right? No? Yeah?
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah,
I
what
think
are
you
we
should just.
doing?
I think you should just say yes. I would like you to be my girlfriend. That's it.
Yeah.
Or what are we doing here? Can we move forward in a way that's actually in a committed relationship? Everything else, I don't like it at all.
I think that people broach it sometimes if they're hooking up and everybody's trying to be safe.
Sure.
And are we exclusive in
Sure.
this capacity? And
Sure.
sometimes that is a different level for some people than putting a label on it, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, here's my thing. Are we not dating to see, dating doesn't mean if you're boyfriend, girlfriend with somebody, you're immediately like getting married, right? So like, why are we so afraid to even be exclusive first and foremost and then be like boyfriend, girlfriend?
When you say we, are you talking about men?
I'm talking about women and men,
Oh,
but
okay.
mostly
Do
the
mostly-
men.
I don't know. I'm curious. Is it mostly
I will
women
say-
in your opinion or men?
Well, okay. All right. We're talking about heterosexuals, guys. Like, please don't come for me. We love the LGBTQ, but like different rules. Okay. So I will say, as a heterosexual woman, it sometimes feels like the ball is in the man's court for deciding that, which, let's be clear, we're both deciding that. You know what I mean? But like, it sometimes feels like the man is the one doing the deciding.
That's true.
Yeah. Don't love it.
That's fair, bro. But I agree with you. Both parties are deciding, but
Yeah.
the deciding factor typically lies on the guy, right? Just like it would for marriage, right? That's why a lot of women say, "Oh, but he didn't." It's this weird wait, because most of the time, if you think about it in a structured way, women typically decide who they end up going out with or accepting dates on,
True.
or from like a intimacy standpoint, and guys typically decide a little bit more. Not that she already didn't opt into it, but decides that kind of commitment. And here's the difference, right? Too, like I do a live show Monday to Thursday every day, and I've been doing it for over a year. I talk to maybe 15, 20 women a night. Right? We'll call
Love
them.
that. Hot plug, by the way.
So yeah, so it's on TikTok, and once in a while I get guys to call in, but the difference is that the guys always have problems pre-date one.
Oh,
Women
yeah.
always having the problems post-date one. It's always the how is he thinking? What does he feel? He took him 4 hours one day and then it took him 6 the next. It's always the over analysis of all the details. But guys don't have typically those problems because once she kind of chooses this is the guy that I've allowed to take me on a date, and then again and again and again, you've kind of already opted in to the idea of him, and while he may have liked the idea of you and taken you out, he's still getting
it.
used to, do I want to commit?
Okay. All right. Here's what I need. All right. The
You
men
know.
need to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
Women are still in the convo then. And by the way, I saw this clip that made me laugh so hard yesterday. It was like this guy like, oh my God, the women, they don't fight anymore if it doesn't work out, and they just ghost into the night and they've been talking to 6 other dudes. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't we? So if we're not exclusive and we are dating, and I've dated guys before and they're like, what? But like, before we are exclusive and have that conversation, of course I'm talking to other people and going on other dates.
Agreed.
And I think that is what everyone should do.
I agree with you. I don't disagree there.
Because then you're not a neurotic psycho. Like, is he texting me? Is she texting me? Like,
Yeah, you don't want to be obsessed with an outcome from one specific person.
yes.
I don't feel like that's healthy for anybody, but definitely for ladies. I don't think that's good because I see it happen more with women.
Yeah.
I see them get into this thing where they have this expectation of one outcome with one dude, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to see that. And they really don't want to see other guys.
Yeah, they don't.
But they're waiting for one guy.
Yeah.
And even the roster thing, like, I get it, right? I understand.
I don't want to say roster, but
I know. I hate the idea of it. But I
think of
there's-
it like a bench.
Yeah, I think there's levels of like the roster conversation sounds a little like superficially like, I don't know, too many kind of like options, a little confusing. I think it sounds a little weird, but in reality, there is a part of it, right, where you should be dating other guys because you're still trying to vet a guy.
Yeah, well,
Just like he's
also-
trying to vet you, and that kind of gets lost.
Well, sometimes people get real comfortable real quick, and they're like, I got her or I got him, and they like cease all their efforts.
Well, that's why I've always said, listen, I've always told women in general, I said, just you don't give girlfriend benefits without getting girlfriend.
Oh, hell no. We don't give wife benefits.
Or that. or that,
Oh
right?
my
But there's
God.
certain things, right? You can give tastes of what it's like to be a girlfriend, but when you start doing it consistently and you start getting all comfy and waking up all the time,
Yeah.
doing all these habits that are not conducive because why at some point he has no incentive to be like, well, what would it be like? He already knows what it's like. He has it right now.
Okay, so we're saying that the levels to commitment that are out there in the first stages, it might be the women to go on the date, but when it comes to moving forward, it is kind of in the guy's hands, which, fuck, I hate to say that, honestly.
But it's the thing, right? It's the level of anxiety that kind of
Yeah.
perpetrates inside of a lot of women when it comes to a guy's feelings and commitment to her makes this a thing, you know? And
Yeah.
also too, like, that's on the side of that. When it comes to commitment, it depends on the phase of life the guy is in. Like that's something that's not necessarily discussed either, right?
Oh,
Especially
God.
when you're in a big city like New York.
All right, well, okay. Well, first of all, I want to do one thing right now.
Sure.
On the internet, I want to get rid of the term roster, but now I'm amending it to bench because what I've always said is it should be like a football team, right? They have the starting lineup and then they have the warmer, they have like team B team, and they have people that are literally free agents, right? So we have our, A team. And I'm not going to say that you should date like 20 people at once, but let girls of all the major cities, at least 2 or 3 people, because then you are like, whomever is treating me nice and who I develop a connection with is who I really should pursue. But the A team is the guy that you could see that with initially. The B team is the guy that is nice that maybe you swerved a little bit because this guy is, we love a bad boy, And the free agent is the guy that is probably giving you the most attention, honestly. But you're just, I don't know. You're not feeling it. And girls have a different wavelength than guys. Guys' roster or bench is like the hottest girl first, usually. You guys are all visual driven. You're like driven visually, correct?
I think initially all
Yeah.
guys are because it kind of creates the reason to want to approach,
Yeah.
or the reason to want to. I think that's a big part of it. But it doesn't necessarily, obviously, as you know this, right? But it doesn't maintain the interest. It's a
no.
moment.
You got to have
But
personality.
you got like, just like, he has to be something about him too that makes you want
Yeah.
to keep seeing this dude. He's not a loser.
Hello, that is why you always see hot women with mediocre men, because you got to be funny and nice. You got to put us in our place a little bit.
Well, that's it, right? And that's always a big conversation too. Is like I hear a lot of women say, "Why do I always see hot women with mediocre men?" But like in reality, they're the same. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna make the argument. I really am because at some point, okay, he chose her and
Yeah.
she's choosing him.
Yeah.
She obviously likes him for the reasons. It's not just because of his looks. It's because of all the other things that he brought. Right? It's like he may be kind, he might be competent, he might be funny, he might be charismatic, he might have money, whatever. All
Well,
these things make a difference.
Well, that's like, you see a lot. I've seen this so much. The hot guy sometimes settles down and marries, I hate to say this, ladies, the not so hot girl.
Yeah, and that's true because a lot of the times the hot guy realizes the hot girl comes with a lot of problems he doesn't want to deal with.
Exactly. It's insecurity.
It's true, and it may be, but it might be
Yeah.
insecurity. But he's still like, I don't want to deal with her.
Yeah.
I'd rather have somebody that's nice for me, and maybe that's a setup, but maybe it's not. I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just like I think that when you see like hot girls with like like uglier, like whatever, overweight guys.
Yeah.
In some capacity, they're doing something.
Well, they have
So you
big
can't
dick
knock it.
energy.
And
Because
that's a big
they're
deal.
secure. Like usually they're
That's
like,
a big
yeah, I
deal.
got this girl. I can't fuck it up. She's great. Like
Sure.
yes, I'm punching. Like they're very upfront about it usually, by the way. Okay.
And they can.
Yeah. I
You know,
mean,
but here's the thing, right? I think that guys learn along the way what you can and what you can't get, and
Okay.
I think they learn it a lot sooner than women learn it. Whereas, like, I
okay.
think that women get a lot of attention, and I don't think women understand the lack of attention guys get unless you become something. Like it's strictly
Oh.
kind of like a production. Like I see he made this, that makes me interested in him. And I don't think they really understand that the level of attention guys get. So when guys learn early on, like they know that like the average barista knows he has no shot with Beyonce or Rihanna, whoever you want to put in there. He just no shot. And it doesn't exist the other way around for a variety of reasons. Not because they have a shot on commitment. The woman has a shot with some high up dude, and whether it's a celeb or an athlete or whatever society wants to deem him as. But he will give the attention if she's interested enough, and for different reasons. Where I don't see that happening the other way.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, wait, you're saying that men
I
do
think
not get hit up if there's like a successful hot woman and they're in like a lower part of the caste system, isn't what you're saying?
Yeah, I think men, and also too on top of that, which is fair. Right? I don't think any's a problem with it. I think that, but men learn quicker on where they stand.
Yeah.
And they know that like, yeah, he can punch up, but he knows you know what it's like to turn down X amount of dudes if they're not where you're not going on a date with them, and they learn that very quick, right? They have to actually work themselves up to get to a place to have a successful get her on a date.
Oh, well, you know what? I've had some men on these dating apps act up. And first of all, you're not hot enough to act like that. I have had so many men that I'm like, well, maybe he's a nice guy. And he's acting so fucking like weird and arrogant in his messages to me at Hinge. And I'm like, bro, you literally are lucky to be here.
Right,
But I'm
fair.
ghosting you now. Bye. Unmatched.
Fair. And you should. The minute you see somebody stupid shit, you should.
I mean, people are wild on these apps lately, but okay. I mean, it's like this is why society is where it's at though. I mean, I read a
Yeah.
statistic today that said, like, I'll read it to you. So it was like, right now, millennials, you're a millennial, right? Millennials are not getting married. Gen Z, actually, 81% of them want to be married, which is so much higher than millennials. Millennial men are more likely to be single. There's 63% of men 30 and older identified as single, which is crazy. That's like a high number. By the way, some of those men totally have girlfriends. I just want to say that. We're not claiming people. Again, we're not claiming people. But like we have the lowest marriage rate, millennials.
Yeah.
On the women too.
Yeah, and both, right? And I
Yeah.
definitely think, especially if it has to be one, probably has to be the other two. But I definitely think, what happened was there was also a generation before that did have marriages that maybe came across to us as being like, oh, I don't want that kind of marriage.
Oh,
right? So it's
100.
kind of felt like they were there just to be there, and then you kind of saw like some misery a part of it. So you were kind of like, I don't want that. So you might as well focus on you.
Yeah.
And then, if it doesn't happen the right way, you don't want it.
Yeah.
And I think it's going a little far, personally.
I think it's going really far. I mean,
it's going really far.
It said like women over 40 right now, 25% are like totally happy to remain single forever. And that's like the highest it's been. And that's why like birth rate is going down and all this stuff. And they're like getting on all the women's cases, like you got to hurry up and get married and procreate. But women are over here like making more money than ever, being more independent than ever. And they're starting to value a higher level of, they just want men to give more than I feel they're able to give right now because the bar has been so fucking low for so long. I mean, we used to have to just get married just to open a bank account. So we're evolved.
No, and listen, I think first off, I think it's magnificent. I also think that on the side note of that is that it created a problem, right, of
Yeah.
natural hypergamy that creates an unsolvable issue.
Yeah. Well,
An unsolvable issue is that there's not enough quote unquote qualified guys to match the standards of what's desired, right? And that's just is what it is. The other issue to that is that guys don't have a similar problem.
Yeah.
Just the way that they vet, obviously, right? I'm saying all obvious stuff, but here's the thing, right? I think that I sat down with Candace Bunchell,
Yeah.
and
Love her.
oh, great,
Yeah.
fantastic, and we don't agree on everything, but we like she's just such a great person, and we were talking, and she was like, yeah, I always tell women to be their own Mr. Big, and I said, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. She's not married, right?
No, but
Yeah.
I also said, I also asked, just to cure it, do you think they want that? And that's a difficult question to answer because I think on paper that sounds fantastic, but I talk to women every day, and I will tell you, they don't want that. Because if that is the fact that they did want that, all the flex they had about what they have, which is fantastic, but you would be able to use it as a Mr. Big would, right? You'd be like, okay, I have no problem. I have no issue. If I have to pay this, I have to pay that, which is also a conversation.
God, that's a whole
which is a whole other
different
conversation,
podcast.
right? And we could talk about that,
Yes.
but I think that it comes with complexity, right? And I think that it creates a problem for women that are trying to date at the specific moment because it kind of, right, you aggregate a bunch of guys that fall into the pool that they kind of all want. And I understand that issue that they're facing.
Yeah.
It's one that I don't know if anybody has a real solution to, which is sad enough, right?
I think I have a solution. Everyone needs a new therapist. I know a lot of people are in therapy. The people that are in therapy the longest that I know are probably the most fucked up, honestly. And I have a degree in psych, so I'm not shitting on psychology or any of that. But I think a lot of people are in situations with people telling them what to do that are actually not advising them properly. So switch up your therapist every other year. Sorry. But I also think it's an epidemic right now where people really... Okay, I'm gonna get so much shit on the internet. I'm gonna say it because we're all thinking it. A lot of people are very unaware of what they bring to the table, who they are, how they are as a partner, and how they appear. Okay. And I'm just, some people are out here being like, I deserve a 10 and honey is a 5. And I'm like, that's not... Why are we so far out of like awareness, some of us? I'm not going to say I'm a 10. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I couldn't agree more. But I think that it stems back. Like, I personally think like some of the biggest issue when it comes to like dating and like getting together is like our overwhelming desire to intake information. And it's just like... Everybody's searching for an outlet, trying to figure out, well, what does this mean? What does it mean when this happens? What does it mean? And then when you're on social, it's just an aggregation of divisive relationship content that is just hitting you every day, boom, boom. And it's like it's empowering content because most of the content out there is kind of like meant to like empower you, but in return, after they're done empowering you, you kind of like depower our actual relationship where there's like a give and take of like self-awareness and understanding that like, okay, I can't keep getting told that I'm X, Y, and Z. I need to actually figure that out. And guys the same way, right? And I think that this is like the adjustment. If you just stop consumption as much as you do of that content, you'd have if you just...
But it keeps feeding you.
You live your life.
The algorithm just continues to feed you the same shit you look at.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. I think a lot of people are on the internet diagnosing the people that are not committing to them, which that is something that ends me. Like when my friends are dating a guy and they've been out twice and he won't commit. First of all, honey, you don't even know him. He doesn't know you. Second of all, they'll be like, he's a fuckboy. Not everyone's a fuckboy. I will say that. Some of you guys are, but... And also, he's a narcissist. That one ends me. Everyone's a narcissist out there now. And that one is like my favorite epidemic.
He's a narcissistic, manipulative piece of shit.
Yeah, he's bipolar.
But those are the words that are thrown around, and it becomes more of... But then that's right. That's the self-empowerment, right? That's the lack of awareness.
Yes.
It's like saying, okay, just because this has happened. Like a girl called my show last night. She started talking about, I'm talking to my therapist, and he said that my boyfriend was a narcissist. I said, hold on a second. Your therapist diagnosed a boyfriend that he's never met?
That's
How's
not a real
possible?
therapist. First of all, this is my first question. Is it a licensed psychologist or a licensed social worker? Because a lot of people out here
100%.
Talking to people that aren't real
therapists.
therapists.
100%. And then I was like, okay, so you're going to... Oh, no, he said that he had narcissistic tendencies. And I said, first off, the dude's... He's trying to tell me that he heard your story and then diagnoses your ex because
Yeah.
he wants you to keep coming back in?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
First of all, if you actually dated a narcissist, that I dated a clinically proven narcissist. My therapist, we had, or it was a couples therapist, we had sessions, and he pulled me to the side, like, get out of this. This is a narcissist. So that's really the only equation where someone can diagnose someone where they've actually met them
Sure.
and diagnose them
I know.
from sessions. So
They get
look,
tossed around a lot, I know.
I think on both sides of the aisle, the commitment thing is not just men. And I think a lot of women are out here like, men won't commit. Like, the dating apps are tired and everyone is honestly on their worst behavior. And it is feral out there. But I will say, I think it is a lot of unaware women and a lot of confused and, I'm all right, a little dumb men who are just sitting here like, I think men and women are just on completely different wavelengths. You guys, I actually think men are very simple. If they feel happy, they're good. Women, especially anxious women, are over here like reading into everything. Like when a guy's at work all day and he's not responding to her texts in 2 hours, I'm like, well, honey, he has a job. But like maybe he's texting other girls. It's like, well, maybe he's in a meeting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people always want to go to the worst case in their head.
Yeah, and they want a reason. They want reasons. They call on my show. I talked to these. I've probably had 5 calls last night just on that one topic. And
Yeah.
I check them every time. Like, listen, I know you want to find a reason so that you can maybe control the scenario, and then if it doesn't match, you can end it so it at least feels like you're in control of something. But this is not going to work out in that
Yeah.
way. You need to give this time, let the chips fall. This is too early. You're stressing about something, spiking your anxiety for no reason. It's not even been, you're not talking about 24, 36, 72 hours. You're talking about 8.
Well, I also think that, look, I've dated guys that love bombed me. And when you have somebody that instantly feels obsessed with you, it's a good feeling, right? So then when the next nice, normal, securely attached man comes and it's a slow burn, you actually think, oh my God, he doesn't like me. He's not obsessed with me. What's
Right.
wrong with me?
Right.
And it's actually super healthy. But I had to work that out in therapy. And my therapist was like, girl, you're the problem because you're so used to these guys that the nice, normal one taking it at the normal tempo to really develop something that's healthy
Yeah.
is scaring you.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's wild, and that is true, right? And then we get used to this kind of behavior all the time, and then if it doesn't match what we're used to, it seems off, and something's very much off here.
Yeah.
And you said most of the people that listen to this are men.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Wow,
Shout
yeah.
out, you guys.
Shout out.
We love a woman listener too, girls.
and,
Tell
you
your
know,
friends.
And back to like the commitment thing, right? Because I agree with you that a lot of
Yeah.
men, I'm just going to say that the age above 30, especially in big cities, lack the urgency to want to commit.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that,
Please lay it on me because this is like the age old question.
totally, and part of the reason for that is, number one, especially when they get into a larger city. Let's just run up the facts, right? So if he's 23, girl 23, right?
Oh, why are we talking about Gen Z?
Well, I'm just saying how he got to that point.
Oh, okay.
So we're going back, right?
Okay, we're
23,
back in
23.
time. Okay.
He might be a good dude, but she's now looking at the 28, 29-year-old to date.
100% because he has his shit together.
Goes to shit together, but she's
Yeah.
also maybe not wanting anything serious because, again, she just went to the big city, so she's trying to figure out, I still want to develop myself. So he has his shit together, but also just like more confident, has more experience. He feels more comfortable with him.
Yeah.
So this happens essentially kind of throughout a guy's 20s most of the time. She might like him and deal with him, but the reality is she's like doesn't see him as a committable option.
I feel so attacked right now because that was me.
And fair enough, right? But that's most women, and especially
Yeah.
in big cities. He's not a committable option yet, but he's a
Yeah.
good dude. But I want 32-year-old. Now I'm 26. I'm looking at the 31, 32-year-old now because
Yeah.
I'm still working through mine. But while I am working through mine, I at least have that, right?
Yeah.
So by the time Brad gets to 32 and
Brad.
33, he, for the first time in his adult life, quite honestly, has more committable options.
Okay.
And he's not rushed and pressed like
Yeah.
maybe he did want to, but he still had to work on himself too, but he was never seen that way. But now he doesn't feel that pressed. Now he's like, well, I could date a 27 or 28-year-old. I don't feel pressed to date Susie, who's also 33 with me. So I think that the timeline's a little different. Not that he wouldn't value who she was,
Yeah.
but I think that is true. I just don't think he doesn't feel as pressed to. When she might say, "Yeah, but what's going on with this Peter Pan dude? Like, what's his deal with this guy?"
Well, what about men in their 40s? Because that's actually more of an epidemic I've seen with
Sure.
men in their 40s.
Sure.
And like I said in our last episode in season 1, the sperm does get dusty. I want to make that real clear to the men.
Yeah, I think. By the way, I couldn't agree more. I do think that men have problems as they get older, and they don't. It's
100%.
not acknowledged as much.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. I don't know. I just think. Listen, you mean men in their 40s that don't want to commit?
Yeah, where they're like, oh, I have all these options. I could date girls in their 20s. I could date girls in their 30s. I could date whoever I want.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of options, and then maybe that shows themselves in the way they could take a girl on a date or like
Yeah.
fair. But that might just be a perception of their own too, or maybe it's reality, right? But like either way, I do think that guys overall tend to want to commit with the girl that they like.
Yes.
I do see this, okay, back and forth. Yes, they will take you out. Yes, if he's not committing to you, in my personal opinion, it just means he doesn't like you that much to commit. It might not have
100%.
commitment problems, right? And I think there's some guys with commitment problems, but
100%.
just because he doesn't want to commit to you after 2 months or 3 months doesn't mean he has commitment problems. He just has it with you.
Oh my God. All right. I have so much to unpack in everything you just said because I agree with everything you just said. I think that guys in their 30s and 40s feel like they have the most options. And that's why a lot of them are like, well, if I settle with this one and she has this flaw, like they're always feeling like, I feel there is sometimes mostly men can get caught up in this cycle of searching for perfection, which is actually super detrimental because nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. Just want to say it again. But also they start to get into this like, oh, if we had like a disagreement, oh, it's like toxic. We can't work out. And honestly, like one thing I, learned from my engagement from that situation was like, there's never going to be a relationship in your life where you don't have like a disagreement here and there. I mean, they're two different people coming together. You're going to not see eye to eye 24/7. But it's how you fight productively. And like if it's someone screaming at you, cursing at you, doing all that, obviously that's toxic. You shouldn't be with that person. But if you're having disagreements with somebody and working it out, like
I think that's a good point you make because I think that people and guys specifically will kind of like actually like people, but I will say guys in this commitment more because we're talking about commitment.
Yeah.
Will get into this phase of like he didn't really like you that much to begin with, so if it does a little bit of problem, he's going to use that problem as a reason to call this thing off.
That's so true.
As opposed to just being like, oh, I don't want to work it out. Like if he likes you, he has no problem working it out.
That's so true. Searching for an
and
out.
if he can't work it out, that means he lacks the ability to problem solve, and that's even worse of a
Oh my
worse
God.
of a quality. So which one do you want to pick?
I mean, those guys are usually really successful at their jobs, which is always like so shocking to me. Men just not liking you is like a thing. And I think that anytime I've dated someone seriously, they told me they immediately cleared their bench. They were like surprised when we were down the line. I'm like, oh yeah, I had a roster. They're like, what? I like cut everyone loose after our first date. I'm like, nobody told you to do that. Like, but they always immediately knew and zeroed in on me. And I think that what you said about guys like taking it chill and kind of like, well, yeah, we could go out again. That guy, he does not like you.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't like you that much, and that just is right. And you have to come to that conclusion sooner, right? And you have to say, okay, he's not showing me committable behaviors. He's not being consistent enough. He's just not doing things that when a guy likes, he would do, right? He would problem solve. He would actually like if he's busy enough, he would start focusing a little bit more on you and his work, but not trying to take out 5 or 6 girls.
Yeah.
If he wants what you want, which I'm assuming he does. That's the only reason I'm only.
It's expensive. But like also
Totally.
would that guy ever, and this is what a lot of girls I think hope and want, would he come around eventually?
To want to commit?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so personally.
Okay.
Because I do. I mean, who knows, right? Could he? Yeah, maybe. But I don't see that being like a pattern. I feel like if
That's
he
the
does-
exception to the rule.
Yeah, I feel like if he does, it's probably for like a time until he finds something that really sparks him. It's like a placehold.
Oh, placeholder. Yeah, that's like a real thing. Okay. That's the problem with commitment. A lot of people are out here being placeholders that don't know it.
Right, and that's why I always tell women, and some women might disagree with me on this, but I always tell women to have these commitment conversations sooner and stop playing games for 5-6 months because how would you get to know, right? And most women would say, well, why doesn't he have that conversation? I would say,
Yeah.
well, it depends. If you've been doing girlfriend stuff and giving girlfriend benefits, why would he have a reason to have a conversation to change nothing?
Yeah. Well, I have said
Like,
this
what are we
to so
talking
many
about?
women.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. I had a girlfriend who kept going back to a guy who, I'm not even joking, the things he would text her were basically like, I don't like you. And then he would still go out with her and have sex with her. And she was like, well, he keeps doing this stuff. And I'm like, what straight man is going to walk away from sex? Like, honestly, it's up on a platter.
Hey, give him the steak. What do you expect him to do?
He's going to eat
Leave?
it.
He keeps going to the restaurant because he's getting free food. Duh. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Oh my God. No, that's like an epidemic. And I need a lot of women out there to do better. You know? All right. Close up the cookie.
That's
all
like
right?
an epidemic.
It is, because a lot of people really think that way. Like, he keeps coming back. We keep hooking up. So he must want to commit to me and like me. Yeah, I'm sure he enjoys his time with you. He probably doesn't hate you,
Right.
but he
right.
doesn't see anything with you.
Yeah, he's not acting like it, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So
I
it
mean,
means you're probably right.
by the way, this is like millennial men, because if this is like Gen Z men in their early 20s, like, he might just be confused, honey. Like, he's young. He doesn't know how to give you an orgasm yet. So, okay.
And that's why they date up, fellas. That's why they look at the guy who they know how to give the man.
How do you know when it's just time to give up and stop trying? Like, what are the signs from a man's perspective? And I'll give a woman's perspective.
Okay. So when give me this rephrase. So how do you know how does a guy know when it's time to give up?
No, okay. Yes, when should a man give up pursuing a woman that he feels is like not trying to commit to him?
Oh, I mean, well, I think that the men figure this a little bit sooner than women do. I think was part of the thing we were talking about first, right?
That is true.
When they start getting on date 1 and date 2 and you get momentum, not going to lie, a guy kind of already knows. He's like, he's not seeing like 5 other dudes because like I keep taking, like, he at least he thinks it. Now,
Yeah.
Right? Like, and he could be wrong, but especially once the intimacy starts happening, like he kind of feels like you're entering a relationship without even talking about it. So the question going back to how does he know when to give up? Like in my personal opinion, especially early stage, because this is where guys typically tend to have problems, is like before first date or a little bit after first date, feeling it out. Honestly, like if she's not showing you interest or like agreeing to go out with you or like not trying to set a date if she can't make it, I'd say end it right there. I say don't even play the game, because I know it's easy to say, yeah, but he should keep doing it. And I said no, he shouldn't. I'm against that.
Well, okay, so I agree, because anytime I've just been keeping someone around because I'm like bored. Honestly, we've all done it. Don't come for me. Like,
Sure.
you just don't want to be in the house on a Saturday night, okay?
Sure.
So like, you just say yes. Also, like, sometimes I've had to talk myself into like, he's a nice guy. Like, I should just give him a chance. He'll grow on me. Because like, I honestly have gotten into relationships, and this is one thing that will only happen to women and not men, is I have had people slow burn grow on me, where I was like, I went on a first date with the dude I ended up being engaged to, and I was like, I will never see that man again. When I got home, I was like, he's all right. Like,
so I have the question to ask you. so after the first date, how did you feel?
I felt nothing. I felt like, well, first of all, I am like an on-time girly. At most, I'm going to make somebody wait 5 to 10 minutes. And we did a whole episode on this, but I think it's really, really effing rude if you make somebody wait longer than 15 minutes. Like at a restaurant, you lose the table.
Totally.
So I had a whole E-train situation. And normally I take a car to a date. And I got stuck, and I did that cost sunk fallacy where I was committed because I stayed on the track for so long. I was like waiting for the train. I ended up being like 30 minutes late to the first date. And he looked pissed. And I even said something to the maitre d' when I got there. I was like, do you think he's mad? And he was like, I don't think this guy's going to be upset at you. And he just didn't look at me the whole day. He seemed like pissed. And I was just like, that man hates me.
Right. It was like set him off a little bit.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't feel this. And then he asked me out again. And I was just like, again, I had nothing to do that night. And then it was just a situation where.
How did you feel after the second date?
No, I still felt. It took 6 dates.
6?
Yeah. He didn't even kiss me till the 5th date. I started thinking he was gay, honestly. I honestly did.
He didn't kiss you until the 5th date?
The 5th date.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's uncommon, right?
Super
So let's just
uncommon.
that situation's very uncommon.
He told me
like.
after we'd been super, committed, I was like, what was that? He's like, I was playing the long game. And I'm like, well, it almost worked.
It did work.
Yeah, I mean, well, It
Right?
almost worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it worked to a point.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
that was like odd behavior to me. And honestly, I think it was a little intriguing. But
Mm.
I think that on the other end of that, with women and not, and like knowing when to kind of give it up, like,
Mm-hmm.
and just stop pursuing somebody who's clearly not interested in taking it
Mm-hmm.
further. I feel like the one thing a lot of women overlook is that men always tell you exactly how they feel about you. And I see this all the time with my friends or just acquaintances. They are always reading that text or hearing that sentence and being like, no, but not me. Like, I'm going to be the exception. I'm going to fix him.
Yeah. And by the way, even if there was the slight possibility of it, is that a smart bet?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can't even go in thinking you're going to fix the guy. I mean, like I think if you haven't captured his interest in the first date, really, like
Yeah.
that's the reason he asked you in the first place. I don't really think he's going to keep going with it.
Yeah. So if he's not like so excited to see you for the second date, is that a sign?
But it's funny, right? So back to that point.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, he should be excited, right?
Yeah.
But then again, all of a sudden he gets excited and it doesn't work out. After it doesn't work out, women will be like, he love bombed me. He love bombed me. He got really excited. All this stuff happened. Like, this
Yeah.
is the confusion with the whole love bombing stuff, right? And by the way, if it's mutual, it's not a love bomb.
Oh my
So
God, no.
just
I know.
like-
I know.
because I know
some
women do this. They say this all the time. I'm like, well, was it mutual? Yeah. But he let it. Okay.
I mean, I will say, I feel like I was more apt to that in my 20s where I was like hot and heavy real quick. And I was like so baby bunny about it. And now I'm
Yeah.
like kind of a cynical person. I'm like,
I get it.
You're full of shit.
Yeah, life kind of does that though, right? It makes you
Yeah.
a little more cynical, a little more pessimism too, just because you're a little more realist about
Yeah.
things, less
Yeah.
like open-eyed about potential, which is
Yes.
good and bad at the same time.
I mean, I sometimes think it's like a little bit sad when you're like in your 30s and you're so like I don't think it's not bitter. I don't like that word. And it's not really cynical, but it's a little bit like just less naive. And I feel like that naiveness is very sweet and endearing. And having to try to maintain a little of that is like kind of nice. But
It's beautiful.
but that's how we got the phrase Delulu, I feel. A little bit.
A little bit. I hear where you're coming from because I
Yeah.
think that's the yin and the yang about the whole like optimism and naivete.
Yeah.
Is that the beauty about it is the fact you can experience life with an optimistic framework.
Yeah.
And the downfall of it is that too much of it becomes naive and
Yes.
you can't see signs. So
Too
I
much
totally agree.
optimism is Delulu.
It kind of turns out that way, right? Have to have
Oh,
a little bit
no.
of pessimism in there.
Yeah, you
Or
gotta
little
be
bit
a
of realism.
realist.
Yeah, a little bit of realism.
Yeah. If this man is not texting you for days on end, I see this all the time. People are like, we went on 2 dates and I haven't heard from him. R.I.P. Next. What are we doing? You don't even know that man's middle name. Why are we upset? Come
I know,
on.
but that's what I mean, right? They a lot of women get very emotionally involved really
Mm-hmm.
early and then like expect an out as if they're getting involved to expect an outcome sooner than later.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets in the way and fucks up the way they should be thinking about this, in my personal opinion. I think they should be
Yeah.
just letting the chips fall as they get to know some other people too. Back to
Okay.
your original point.
So you think women need to be more patient? Is that? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to summarize.
I think they need to tell a different story about what this is. I think
Okay.
typically they go into this and again they allow the guy to take them out and then they kind of mentally have chosen this guy, and if it doesn't go the way that they think as they chose, because he's still vetting and you should be still vetting,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't go to this point, that's why they're always trying to call in and looking like, what does this mean? What does that mean? It's like an overanalyzing all the details, and I don't find that helpful. I find being busy more helpful.
Yeah.
Being busy, having hobbies, maybe going on one other date with another dude, because it's too early for you to have expectations when this thing doesn't work out.
I feel like, oh my God, I'm with the hot takes today. I feel like a lot of women get very married to the attention. And it's not actually the person all the time. It's just like someone's giving me all this attention and I'm feeding off of that. I feel like men, because you guys are so raised to deal with so much rejection, you're not always so like, you're not getting that attention all the time. So you're not craving it as much. I mean, some men do crave it. Like the validation thing on dating apps is very real. But I think sometimes when women are single, that's why they latch on.
I have this theory that I do believe wholeheartedly that attention to women is like sex to men.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I've said it before. I'm a plant in a relationship. I need attention
Right.
to grow and
Right.
sunlight. Take me to the beach and some water. Yeah, I need to be hydrated. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And then I think a lot of guys pursue not just the attention, but they want intimacy.
Yeah.
And not just, again, I think a lot of women think about it as, oh, guys are just like dogs. They just want to. No, I think that they don't understand what it's like to get a level of attention to them. So they desire the ability to have intimate moments. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be about a get off. It's like a moment of like touch and cuddle and closeness and
Yeah.
compassion. And I just don't think that they get that. And when they think about it that way,
Yeah.
they desire that.
Well, okay. So that's in dating and commitment. All right. So we've kind of covered a lot of the dating and commitment. Let's say that you're in a relationship, and I've done this, and I'm going to storytell now. What if you're in a relationship, someone has committed to you? They're like exclusive with you, they're your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is. Now you're talking, you're in love, you've said you love each other. Now it's like the next step is on the horizon. Oh, you're like
I'm
loosening
just,
the turtleneck. You're getting hot in here. Yeah,
Nah,
typical man. No, I'm just kidding. But like, that's the next phase of having to figure out if you're compatible for long term. And I feel like that is when people crack. And like, I had a boyfriend, and we were very serious. We were in that stage. We were like, we knew we met all the friends. We were meeting the fam, and it's like, all right. So once we get to a year mark, I'm not going to be your girlfriend for 4 years. So where are we at? What's next? Or do you see that future? And he was like sweating, And I think he was terrified of that. And it's like, well, then why the fuck are we here? So like, what is that? Have you ever been in that situation where you've dated somebody a little bit more long term, where she's like, okay, what's next? And you're like, oh, big JK, I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I have, but not to the point where she's like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I understand how that happens and how that folds down. But, as you know, and if you've been a part of it, I do think like communicating that like consistently about like we're on the same path. And I do think below that year is very important. I don't, once you get past that year, like,
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
No.
Especially at the phase right now. This phase, I don't even like that at all.
No, I think that I get so angry at women when they're like, I was with him for 5 years and he wouldn't commit. Girl, leave at 4, or leave at 2, leave at whatever. What the fuck were we doing for 5 years?
I know, it's wild.
And then, by the way, that guy always marries the next girl after 7 months. Like,
yeah, and that happens, right? Like he's going to commit to the person he wants to commit to.
Yeah.
And that's part of the rough part, the rough part of that deal.
Well, what if somebody says like, there are people out there that are like just ambivalent to marriage. And I actually, this was a whole thing we talked about on a previous episode where like, what's the point of marriage if you don't want to have kids? And a lot of people don't want to have kids. So in that respect, there's no urgency to get married.
Sure.
So if you are with somebody who wants those things and you're ambivalent to them, how do you kind of navigate that? Like, I could go either way.
Yeah. Right.
But there is an urgency on that one person's end.
Sure.
So
I think a lot of guys actually don't consider or even desire marriage without kids. for the most
Yeah.
part. And maybe some women do because there's some kind of security that's tied to them, right? And I can understand that, respect that.
Yeah.
But I understand a lot of people don't want to get married these days. Like my parents never got married, and they're still living together.
They never got married?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is every man's dream. Oh,
Yeah.
You know what? We can't.
Yeah, they never got married. I don't know if they wanted to, including my mother. So I think that there was just, for whatever reason, circumstance, time, and everything else. But, I don't like when I'm all for having marriage as an outcome for people.
I agree.
I'm all for that if that's what they want. But what I'm not for, and you have to distinguish: do you want marriage or do you want to be wife/husband? Do you want to like share this thing? And I don't want people to do it for marriage because all that happens is you get married and then like your interest starts to drop off like every time. Like so many studies have been done on this.
Yes.
Specifically women.
Well,
And
I have a unique perspective on that, obviously.
Please.
Well, because I own an event company and
That's
I do
right.
a lot of luxury weddings.
That's
So
right.
I see people planning their weddings. And when the wedding is about the wedding and not the marriage, that's when I see, oh, there's cracks in the foundation here. And that's when I'm like, as a unbiased neutral party, I'm like, I don't know if this has staying power.
Yeah, that's tough, and I think it's become so kind of like glamorized about the actual wedding itself. Like it's like okay, like and there's kind of like this like social like currency to I'm married, you know. And if I'm speaking directly, it's definitely more on the women's side because like I don't know a single guy that's like, man, I can't wait.
Oh my God, I've had clients that are like so excited.
I guess, but I never hear guys like it might be true, but I never hear guys be like, I can't wait to get married. I think they can't wait to have this person in their life, but I think the actual idea of the marriage itself, I don't know. I don't hear a lot of guys talk like that way. But
I mean, you guys do sweat profusely before the ceremony. I will say that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
The nerves are real. I will say, I think that the biggest reason men avoid marriage or get afraid of it more so than women is because of the financial component. And that's actually the number one statistic as to why a lot of guys try to avoid getting married. So I think that is like a huge factor, especially in a city like New York where these guys are sometimes making lots of money. And some of you guys are out here dating bottle girls that aren't making money. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think if women were making more in a relationship, you think they'd still want to get married?
Okay, actually, I have a lot of boss bitch girlfriends, and they make a lot of money, and some of them make more than their partners, and they are doing everything, and they do want to be married because they want to have kids. I think if you make more and you don't want to have kids, I've said this before, I don't understand why people get married when they don't want to have kids, because why would you tie yourself to somebody if you don't want a family dynamic like that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just live together and be together.
I agree.
Like if I didn't want kids, I wouldn't marry someone. I wouldn't be like, here we go with our taxes. Like,
right. I wouldn't. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't. I think that women just in general, and I hate to say it, don't come for me, just inherently want it more than men. And men have seen it as like, well, it's the next step, I think, a lot. I think that like narrative in men's head of like, it's the next step. We've been dating for this many years. Or we want to start having kids, or I'm the last single person. Like, this isn't fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes more of like a social obligation in some sense.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how can we like get over the fear of it? Because I think a lot of people think of like commitment as terms of like being a boyfriend or like committing to someone, getting engaged and married. Like, I think a lot of people are just so fearful. Like, what if it doesn't work out? Like, okay, it doesn't. So what?
Yeah, and I think that it also exists due to the fact that the world we live in of, you know, analysis paralysis and the level of options that people seem to have, and the grass could be greener at some point. And it's this idea where you don't want, is this the wrong choice? You know, we have the problem with like 8 choices. Can you imagine with like thousands and millions?
Yeah.
Like it's just, we're at a place right now, I don't think we've really learned how to navigate that. So there's like this fear of commitment, whether it's in a relationship or other things, is like a real big thing for this generation for sure.
It really is, because like, we have too many options and we're really distracted, and you know, everybody is getting tempted. You know, like people are always texting you randomly or sliding in your DMs or whatever. Everyone's just being tested all the time.
Getting hits all the time.
Yeah, it's actually wild, and like it really just tests like, hey, are you good with this person? Yeah. Actually, the one thing I've noticed is, and you see this a lot, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I love the Real Housewives. And a lot of these women that come on the show, they're kind of just a wife. And then they get fame and money, and they never stay married because the men can't handle that. They're like, I liked it when the dynamic was I had all the power in the scenario. And like you will see all the women that have like been on it for a long time and have a lot of fame and a lot of money, they're all divorced. All their husbands cheat on them and left them.
So the husbands are the ones that cheated?
They cheated, yeah. With like random girls with nothing going on. It's always like somebody not successful. It's always like, it's never like I cheated on the CEO with the chairman of the company. Like it's never that. Yeah. Yeah. So like I think that's intimidating to a lot of men. Like
which part when women
become powerful?
I think it's naturally kind of like this is going to sound weird, but I think it's like, I don't think there's a problem with the intelligence and competence, and that's actually amazing that every guy wants that.
No, not intelligence. I'm talking about money and power.
I know, but I think that the money and power doesn't suit the relationship. Part of the reason is because it takes away from the dynamic of the relationship when you're not going to use your money on me anyway, so it doesn't even benefit me. So why am I like opting into this and like clapping for it if it doesn't feed the relationship? The only reason you can clap for my money is because I'm putting it back into you or this and us and us, and this is for us. Whereas when you get money, it's for you, and when I get money, it's for us. So it's not like, if I had something that you didn't really value and I said, I got this really great watch collection, you got to come see it, and I'm collecting these. You'd be like, okay, great. It doesn't really benefit me. But I think that there's this thing where guys, it's the financial component where it doesn't benefit them. And it's like, okay, well, I get you're working so hard on that, but like there's still a relationship here and it doesn't seem like it fits the realm of the relationship, right? So I'm not against that. I just think that that's the feeling a lot of guys feel. Where it's like, I think it's great, but it's also like pulling you away from the relationship, and I don't benefit from it. And I don't benefit from it.
But
so
what if you do benefit?
Both.
You're getting a better house. You have like a bigger
if you're willing to pour it, if we're willing to pour it into each other, that's a different story. But I don't see that a lot.
What I usually think it is I think it is, oh, she's not as attentive to me anymore. She's a little bit more busy.
Sure.
She's got a little stuff going on, and I'm feeling a little lonely, and like I honestly think that it's usually like I'm not getting the attention that I want. Like you said, attention to men is like sex. Sometimes it really comes with sex. But I think that's always what it is. Like
it's always
powerful women don't give you as much attention.
Well, that too. But also too, like the thing that they're taking their attention off for you don't feel the benefit from. It's like but also, like, a lot of guys, I know a lot of girls would be like, yeah, I know a lot of guys, like, come after for my money. Like, a lot of guys don't go after women for money. And I think that there's this narrative that they think, I don't know why they think this, but I'm like, no, it's not that they don't like that, who you are as a person, but, like, that's not, they almost, socially, they get seen as, like, a bitch. It's like, even if a guy, like, if you start, one of your boys starts, like, getting this girl, it's like, you don't, it's not like a thing to be proud of. It's kind of like you're like, what are you doing?
Well, I think a lot of women are attracted to guys with money because, look, the reason a lot of women are staying single is because in a relationship, we do sacrifice more.
Yeah.
If we work out, we're going to carry the baby. We're going to go through physical hardships and mental hardships. And we're going to do all that for somebody who maybe isn't going to be able to afford it. And we're going to have to, work to our 9 months? Like, you know what I mean? That's like, that sounds a little miserable, I think. For a lot of people.
I think women should look for men who are resourceful and have resources. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because we just sacrifice a lot. So it's like, well, if we want to do this, nobody wants to be out here struggling, especially with that and a family and all that good stuff. And I don't think any men, you see a lot of men be like, I can't move to that next stage until I am financially set. Like that's an excuse for a lot of men before they commit, where they're I want to be in a certain place before I do that.
I think some men can use that as an excuse, but some men could also not be in the phase where they're at, right? Like, so like if Joe enters a relationship and he likes her a lot, but he doesn't have what it's like, he doesn't have what he needs to maintain the relationship because his attention can't go to her. It needs to go to the things that he's not sufficient in yet.
Oh.
And it kind of feels like if I'm not putting it to this, which is the main reason she might like me in the first place, because I have things and I'm focused and I'm driven and I'm purposeful. If I can't put it to that and I put it to her, I'm at a deficit and I'm now not as attractive to her, but I'm not even attractive to myself. And I think that there's this purpose that's like kind of aligned with what they do and how they do it. Now, if they're on that path but they don't have the money, I think it's a different conversation because I believe in building together with people. That's just I feel like that's always been the way. People have always done this in different ways and shapes and forms.
Yeah.
I think that's important. But nowadays, if he doesn't feel like he's on a path, it's very hard for him to commit time and energy to something when he doesn't feel good about himself at all.
I get that. I want to kind of touch on what you mentioned earlier, which is like, well, it depends what phase of his life he's in. And like, okay, so there's a joke that if men are ready for commitment, they're like a cab, right? Their light is on. They're ready for business. The next person that gets in is who they want to marry. What are the signs that women should be looking for to see if somebody's even like commitment forward, if that's something they're actually searching for? Like, what are things that we can be asking people? So, I mean, by the way, words are bullshit sometimes. So I will acknowledge that. It's always actions you should focus on.
Sure.
But like, what are things that this guy who has his cab light on is what are some attributes?
I think you got to look at his like professional life too, and I don't mean his money. By the way. I just
Okay.
mean like what he's doing, like what his plan is, like what he wants to do. Does he have a plan? I talk about the difference between a guy in process.
In process.
Yeah, a
Like
guy
he's
in
a work in
process
progress,
or
or-
potential.
Okay.
And those are two different things, in my
Okay.
opinion. So, like, potential is just something that really everybody has, and a lot of women use potential to justify feelings to a guy.
Yeah, we need to
Potential,
stop doing that.
yeah, everybody has potential, right? So, like,
Yeah.
potential is just untapped for everybody. But in process means a variety of things, but mainly it means he's done something in the past, he's trying at the moment, and he has a plan. Regardless of where he's at financially with it, right? Like, there's levels to it, but he has done something. Like, you have to like his past is a good predictor, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have to be making X amount, but he's like tried and he's failed a number of times, but he's at a place now where he also has a plan. Like, it doesn't have to be a perfect plan, it just has to be a plan. And that's a guy that has potential. And you could argue that a lot of guys have potential because they're not at the top of no mountain nowhere, but they're taking action on things. Regardless
Okay.
if they fail or not. I think it's very important.
So a guy that's like really putting himself out there and like building, not an empire, but just building his life is probably someone that's more likely to commit than somebody who's like already successful.
No, I mean, if somebody's already successful, you can already make that point, right? Like, you can probably say he's probably more likely and willing to because he feels more secure in where he's at financially, emotionally, and everything else. However, I think that when you choose guys, you have to look at where they're at, and if you want to believe in them and invest your time and energy into a guy, you have to see his character, and a lot of that comes from what he's done in the past, who he is, and how he operates. I don't think there's a guarantee that you're going to, he's going to be ready for anything, but that's where the conversations come. If he's not willing to commit to you sooner than later in the 2.5, 3 month mark, then it doesn't really matter. I think that it does matter that he might not be in that moment, and he might not be. But either way, right? Like, if it's not a commitment in that time frame, you should bounce. Like, it's not.
What's the time frame again? Is 2 months?
I give it 2.5, 3.
Oh, that's a long time.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I
mean,
feel like 6 dates.
for
6
committed
dates.
to relationship.
Well, like, all right. I feel like if you are, yeah, because if you're going out once a week, that's like 6 weeks.
Yeah, if you want to say 6 dates, that's not, you could say that.
I
But
mean,
I think
okay,
that,
maybe like over
I
a
think
month.
if you give 2 to 3 months, I feel like that's fair because depending on how often you see somebody, right? Like, if you see them once a week, I don't think that's a big deal. It could be long for some people, but I think that's fair.
Well, I am one of those people that thinks after a year you should know I want to be with this person, or if you're on the fence about it, that's not your person.
Agreed.
And I also think that after like a month or 2 of knowing someone, if you're like, I don't know if she should be my girlfriend, I don't know if he should be my boyfriend, girl, set that man free. And
Sure.
likewise the other way. I think that a lot of people are out here like, one day it'll hit, or like I'm bored, or and I think we're focusing our energy on the wrong people a lot and focusing on the wrong things. Like, one of my friends in her 30s and her mid 30s was like, he watched my story. Girl, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like,
You don't know how many times I hear
I
that. Oh my
cannot deal with
gosh.
that statement.
My story.
I'm like,
It
what? How old are
accidentally
we?
hit his feed. What
Do
are
you know how
talking
many
about?
times I've left my phone like this and it just plays the stories?
It accidentally
like-
hit his feed. Right. That's what it's true.
By the way, sometimes I'll watch stories of people I don't care about. Just throwing that out there for everybody who's confused about it.
And right, because it's even accidental, right? You're just kind of going
Yeah.
through the stories.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, oops, how did I end up here?
Right.
I'm also not a story watcher, so like I
Right.
don't even know why we're out here doing that all the time.
Fair.
But
Fair.
yeah, most people don't have really anything entertaining going on. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really, that kills me when
Mm-hmm.
people like focus on that kind of detail of like, he must like me, he watched my story.
Sure. I agree. And that's why I say there's a lot of overthinking that goes on in this early stage that really doesn't help because I think it's important for you to let the chips fall and stay busy.
Stay busy. Okay, so that's like the takeaway from this. Like, in order to,
Yeah, because I think you have to detach yourself from these outcomes very early on. And you got to stay a little bit busier, whether that's with friends, whether that's with hobbies, whether that's with yourself, whether that's with work, whatever it is. That 2.5 month mark, I think you have to be busy. You can't just like be focused on a specific outcome. You kind of have to detach a little bit.
I agree. Again, that comes back to the bench story. We're full circle now. You got to have a bench. Everyone needs to have a bench. I know some people are out here like, Alyssa, I can't build a bench. You can, I promise.
And they're going to say, well, how deep should the bench be, Alyssa?
The bench should not be more than 3 people. That's crazy, okay? I know some of these boys in the summer, especially in the Hamptons, they're out here with a whole situation. You better stop. That's how diseases happen. Stop it.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to like no babies and everyone has STDs real quick, saying with some of the way people are acting.
Yeah, we're going to go to like AI incubating babies soon. I felt like, there was something that they were saying that like, who was talking about it on some podcast? They were saying that soon you're going to have to be, you could just have to take like a cell, like a piece of DNA from your skin, and you'll be able to create a baby from it.
What?
And so you won't have to worry about the eggs. It's wild to me.
I mean,
Wild
people were out here digging in people's trash cans after hookups to try and get babies.
Oh,
and
Jesus
that, like,
Christ.
this is just going to unleash some crazy stuff. Like, I don't want to see that world.
Unreal.
People are going to make my babies.
Right.
I had somebody that I dated once ask me, he came to me after we'd broke up, and he was like, how do you feel about just giving me an egg and like co-parenting with me? And I honestly thought about it because I was like, I mean, he was smart. He had good genetics. It would have been a great baby. We didn't do it, by the way.
Why did you not do it?
I was like, I don't even remember. I was in my late 20s, I think. And I was like, I'll probably find somebody that I want to do it with that's like in a better situation.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
might be complicated.
Yeah.
And I think back to that sometimes and I'm like, that might have been so stress-free, honestly. Like, because we were good friends and we communicated well, which is really the crux of the issue in a lot of relationships, communication.
Sure.
Again,
be the
why
case.
everybody can't do commitment because people are afraid to talk about it. Like a lot of people are afraid to
Yeah.
even bring it up.
I know.
Like, oh my God, he's going to get scared off. Like, what are we doing?
I know. I hear that a lot too, yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah, every time, yeah.
Why?
I don't
Or
know how
why
to
are
bring
we
it
so
up. What could
afraid?
I say? Like, why couldn't he do it? There's a lot of reasons, right? And
Yeah.
I'm saying I get the ideal scenario for you is you don't have to do anything. But ironically, it's weirdly enough, that's not how it goes.
All right, I'm going to look at the camera and I'm going to tell all the women out there, okay, where's the camera? Just ask for what you want. The worst people can say is no. Okay, someone said no. You don't waste 6 months of your life. Like, move on. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But why are we out here not asking for what we want? It goes the same when you want a raise, you vouch for yourself. You say, I want a raise. You want a relationship? Why is it always him that has to bring it up? Ask for it. What are we doing? I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be talking to anyone else.
Well,
I
because
want you.
I do believe, though, I think that part of it is that women are very sensitive to rejection. I just don't think they're accustomed and used to it as much as men are. So
Yeah.
when it comes down to this conversation, if that dude that they've been emotionally investing in says no to them,
Yeah.
it's a real hit on like, well, am I not good enough? Like, what's about me and me and me? So I don't think it's like, and it might affect the way that they even want to do it for the next guy. Now they're like, I don't even know if I want to see the next, it's like
Yeah.
a ripple effect maybe. Just my assumption, but
No, I do hear that. I hear that. We do not like a rejection. And we, again, touched on that before because
yeah.
rejection for women is hard because we don't experience it as much as men. And we don't grow up having rejection all the time. So we have really sensitive feelings around it. But I will tell you, I straight up asked somebody, what are we doing here after 3 months? We were hanging out every day and all the things. And he was just like, he looked at me, and you know who you are if you're listening because we're
my
still
God.
friends. And he was literally like, I don't feel the thing that you're supposed to feel. And I was like, oh my God, the way that I felt like a gunshot to the head.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I respected the shit out of him because I was like, now we're done. And he saved me so much time and way more heartache if we had just continued at that pace.
Yeah. I mean, at least if you're honest with him, he could be honest with you, hopefully.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not, but sometimes they are, right? Like if he's a good dude, he'll be honest and be like, I just don't feel it. I like you. I just don't like you enough. I don't think I can commit to you.
I think getting your feelings hurt after 2 months is way better than getting your feelings hurt after 8 months.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If you look at it that way, which most people should look at it
Yeah.
as, they should look at it as, let me get this done sooner or later. Let me just see. He should know by now if he doesn't know by now. And part of it is also the fear of getting the answer they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
They'd rather kind of continue this out and play this out.
Dude, time is the most precious thing that we have, and I don't understand why everyone's out here wasting it. So, okay, if you're, just to like wrap up, if you're
Sure.
in a relationship though that's committed and the person is afraid to take the next step to marriage, what should women do?
I mean, at that point, right? You got to leave. It's just, I don't think they even need me to say. I think that they need to really think about it, about the repercussions of staying in a situation where somebody has not made that decision or does not want to after a certain point. But you have to put that point in your head. You have to say, at this point, if he's not ready, I have to do something about it because I'm only going to dig a deeper hole.
Yeah.
So I think we're on the same page about that. I don't.
Yeah. Do you think it's like something people should know? Like, I could see a future with this person at 7, 8, 6, how many months?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a little bit more aggressive on it depending on where you're at, but I'm more of like a 8 to 10 month type of guy.
Yeah. At the 8-month mark, he should know.
I mean, I think he should know probably at like 6, honestly. If he should know if I want to like deal with her in a way that is going to lead to engagement, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just feel like if you hang out that much and you know her, like, a lot of people would say, yeah, but how, you know, but I don't really know. I'm like, okay, man, listen, what are you going to find out about her in a year and a half that you can't find out about her in 6, 7, 8 months?
I agree.
Like, come on.
Yeah. I think everybody who is in relationships who's afraid to take the next step, I think they should do this experiment. I came up with this. I think that you should do like a trial living together situation for like 2 or 3 weeks, almost like COVID quarantine, but we go about our daily lives. Because let me tell you, we all broke up during COVID because we could not hang together. So it's really a testament. Can you live together? Do they load the dishwasher like a savage? Do they leave their underwear on the bathroom floor? Is that going to drive you crazy for 100 years? Because if I think a lot of women did that with some of these men, they would actually be like, maybe I'm not into this. Yeah. Because
I think that solution is actually a good one.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, well, you should live with them and move fully in.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm not the biggest one. I'm not the biggest proponent of that.
Yeah.
I'm more of a proponent of, like, that would be, like, you can always stay with somebody for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, like, really try and get to know their habits and how they are and what they get mad at, where they're frustrated, and all the details that you don't get when you're not with them enough.
I am like a weirdo, but I don't think I have a rule that I would never live with anyone who I'm not engaged to. Because
that's fair. You should be that way.
I think that you have to have a certain level of commitment together to live together, because when you have these little mundane fights, if you're committed to like trying to build a life together, you're less likely to be like, oh, I'm going to ruin it all because of the dishwasher, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I think you should be that way. I think you should move in with it until there's like that level of commitment. I would say engagement.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we're aligned. Okay. So biggest takeaways for this one, hot takes. What is your hot take about commitment in millennials?
I think millennials are just commitment phobes in general, so I think it applies to dating specifically for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will tell you that he might not be a commitment phobe. He might just fear commitment with you.
Yeah, he might just not like you. That's your big takeaway. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not committing, it might just be for you.
Wow.
And you've seen the scenarios. You've seen guys commit when they didn't want to commit to her, but they commit to the next one.
1,000%.
That happens, right?
I've probably married a few of those guys. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. All right. Well,
what's your hot take?
My hot take is I think that men and women need to rein it in with like these standards. Sometimes I hear people saying things that I'm like, you know, he must have the perfect teeth and it's like, okay, I'm not telling anyone to settle, but I think people have lost realism, honestly. I think a lot of people are out here being 100% delulu in what they bring to the table, and they want the other person to be a perfect specimen, and that is crazy to me.
And it starts with the point you said, though. When you lack self-awareness and like understanding of who you are and what it is you bring, of course it's easy to be delulu, right?
I think we're the most unaware generation because we've been through some shit, honestly. We were raised without the internet. We're just all over the place. We're a little unaware, I will say. Some people are low EQ.
That's true.
They should be listening to this pod.
Oops.
Well, thanks so much for coming, Ben. Is there anything you want to plug? Go crazy.
No, I don't want to plug anything. But you know, if anybody's interested in what I have to say at all, then you know, I create content on Instagram and TikTok. Benny Inc. BENNYINC. But other than that, I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks guys for coming. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your fam. 5-star reviews only at MissJudged Podcast everywhere you can find us. Bye.